Hello, my name is Stabarino, and over the next few weeks, I, in conjunction with several other knifers, will be teaching you how to knife effectively in several of our favorite Call of Duties. I will be starting with Ghosts, as it's one of my favorites. Let's begin. Alright, so before you can even think about going into a game and stabbing your way to victory, you're going to need to know what setups are and are not effective. As a note, for every class setup I ever show you, I will be excluding the gold knife, as not everyone will have access to it. Um, So the class I'm going to go over today is a general purpose respawn class. You'll be using the tack knife on the Magnum pistol for every class setup that you normally run. You could quest, you could do other things, but if you want to be efficient, that's how you do it. The Magnum is the fastest tack knife, and it's the most consistent feeling tack knife. And in respawn, sometimes you just have to chain kills together in ways that you don't have to in other modes. We'll also be using two throwing knives and a stun grenade. I do this because the stun grenade functions as a miniature oracle with this class setup, and it's just the best. And two throwing knives, because why would you not want more throwing knives? Like, come on. Alright, so here's the class. We run agility so that we get some extra movement speed for the bursts of speed that are necessary to run down and stab people. We run reflex so we can throw our throwing knives faster. They're our primary weapon on this class. We run recon so that our stun grenades act as mini oracles. Throw them over the wall, pop them, you can see everyone through the walls. We run sitrep to avoid IEDs and to get a general idea of where our enemies are. We run extra lethal to get two throwing knives, as I said before. Our strike package includes scavenger to resupply our throwing knives, off the grid to stay off the minimap entirely, as we never shoot, we'll never show up on the minimap when there's a SATCOM. This neutralizes that entirely. After this, your choices don't particularly matter. I personally like to run blast shield and the rest of the stealth perks to stay just totally no one can fuck with you. Alright, so now we're going to talk about tactics. So, first thing is first, right? You don't have a gun. Sounds obvious, I know, but it takes a while for you to adapt to that particular difference. Since you don't have a gun, head glitches don't help you at all. You're either going for total stealth or total speed. And in order to actively work on that, I'm going to tell you, speed doesn't work in Ghosts. You can kind of make it work with some of the tactics I'll be teaching you, but it's a stealth-based game. So, since you don't have those advantages, you're going to have to take every advantage you can get. And the biggest ones that you can get right out the gate are being able to drop shot, jump shot, and side peek. And I'll be throwing some examples here, right? Drop shotting. The primary advantage of drop shotting is that it makes you a smaller target for a moment. And because of that, it makes it harder for people to shoot you. Jump shotting, on the other hand, makes you a more mobile target, harder to hit. And that's just a good thing, it gives you an advantage where they're standing still, you jump. That's all there is to it. Side peeking allows you to take as much advantage of cover as you can while still getting a throwing knife or a stab off. It's more useful with throwing knives and stabs. And here, I'm going to show you a quality example of using both a side peek and a drop shot. There's not a jump shot in it, but it's a good example of how this all plays together. Alright, so here are some tactics that are more applicable to Ghosts specifically. Everything I've told you before this you can more or less use in any COD. So, in Ghost, the kill time is extremely fast, and as such, you can't afford to face tank any bullets. If you do, you will most likely die. As such, flanking is the most essential part of knifing in this game. Sadly, I can't teach you how to flank. You just have to play the game and get experience with how the maps flow and how players think. Um, Now, what I can tell you is that anytime you have the option to be behind someone, you take it. Like right here, I'm going to show you a clip, and you'll see that I walk around behind the guy because it's a better angle. And that's just the way that this game works. Now, what I'm going to tell you as my final piece of advice is the underlying philosophy of how I knife in almost every game, but in particular Ghosts. You have to be like water. So whenever you meet resistance, right? Whenever water meets resistance, it just flows around it. So whenever you meet, you come up on a guy, you see him on a head glitch, you don't push that guy. You probably won't win. You redirect and find another way around until you can get behind him where there is no resistance. That's why flanking is so essential to the playstyle I'm teaching you here. If it's ever a contest, don't take the risk. Remember, the other guy can't win the game if you don't die. And that's all the advice I have for you guys today. So, thank you for your time, and good luck. I hope to see some of you guys out there knifing people.